Is it my internet or what the fuck? Oh.
Hey Johnny.
Hello, hello.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. And yourself? Here we go. Okay.
Yeah, there we
Gracias.
go.
¿Cómo está usted?
Bien, ¿y tú cómo estás?
Bien, bien. Sí, gracias a Dios.
Sí, en El Paso ahorita, ¿dónde andas?
Sí, en Texas. ¿Y tú?
Aquí en Nueva York ahorita.
Nueva York. How's the weather?
Mm, chilly, un poquito frío. Yo acabo de llegar ayer de México y estaba ya muy frío hoy en la mañana, pero bueno, ahorita
Really?
está muy bien.
Okay. Okay.
Allá, ¿qué tal?
Well, first off, for the meeting, I want to say thank you for being a part of this. I hope that, we get everything out there so that, we get your name even more out there than you already have. Because I was looking at your Instagram, for example, and I
Mhm.
was doing this even before the meeting, and I noticed that you have commercial shoots, directorial debut on your film. You also have footwear. I didn't even know that was, I don't know if you want to start with that because I was very curious about that, see what's going on.
Yeah, yeah, with the footwear, you mean?
Uh-huh. Yes, sir.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, with the footwear, I used to have a footwear brand with my brothers back in Mexico, and but my family business on my father's side, it's shoe manufacturing. So we make shoes. So I used to work there before as well, while doing commercials and stuff when I was back in Mexico, and yeah, I was working on marketing and and all this side of the business and yeah, I mean right now I don't operate there anymore because I'm focused more on the filmmaking side, but yeah, I mean that's still there. Once in a while we have just like board meetings and stuff, but I don't work there anymore per se. But yeah, it's pretty cool.
Is that something you want to maybe go back to eventually once you get the film stuff?
No, not really. I'm not a big fan of shoes. Since I was little, my grandfather started it and stuff like that. So it's like something I was born into, and I'm like, no, I didn't ever like it. And my brothers love it, and they work there and stuff. But no, for me, it's always been film. So I was just looking for the opportunity to transition to film smoothly with no family issues, and making it as smooth as possible. So thank God it worked out eventually.
Gotcha. And I was gonna ask you about that because while I was trying to research you through your
Mhm.
Instagram, maybe even Google you, but I couldn't really find much of the films that you've done. I was gonna ask what your first film was because I was very curious about that. That's one of the things
Yeah,
I wanted to bring up. That
yeah.
got
The first film, like actual short film, was I shot it back in Mexico.
uh-huh.
Shot it back in Mexico. I actually have a website, but right now it's down. It's down. I have to rework it. That's where you could have found my work. But yeah, I shot in 2018,
Okay.
and that was my transition from commercial to fiction, and yeah, since then I kind of slowed down on the commercial side and just try to focus on narrative and fiction. So, but yeah, it was a small short film. I think it's 9 minutes and very contained. And it was all happening like in a cabin in the outside of my city, and it was more like I had no idea what to expect with dealing with actors and so different, but it was really nice experience.
And how is that, by the way? Because I noticed that since you're a director and you've had a commercial background as well, when it comes to like casting, let's say actors or even your crew members, how was that process for you? Especially someone that I see that you travel and things like that. I imagine that's, you have to multitask.
Yeah, no, I mean it's very different, as you know, commercial to to fiction. So that's what I learned through my first couple short films, and then I took commercial directing class in USC during a summer program. So it's one of the 6 week intensive. And also there, it was like we had to shoot a commercial very quickly. They give you a month. And that was my first experience when I'm like just looking at headshots and being like, oh, this guy looks like the profile I want with no casting. And then in class, it was like, it was a flop. It was like, what the hell? This guy doesn't even act well, doesn't go. And that was my first like experience realizing how important casting actually is. And from there, a lot of times we think with commercials, it's like as long as they look like the target market you're going
Uh-huh.
for or the profile, most of the times you're fine, especially if it's fashion shoots and stuff. But when it comes more to storytelling, that's like there's a big difference. So now I learned the value of casting since then, and now every time I shoot a commercial, definitely, I mean a short film, definitely that's one of the most important aspects of it, and definitely I don't shoot anything unless I've had a casting or at least a conversation with the actor and see some sides, see how they do it, and at least go, no, they can do it. It's very risky to just jump into shoot without really actually seeing them and giving them some direction first.
Mm. So would you say in that case, it also helped you on the business side, especially?
In what part? Who?
So going from commercial and then working to short films and then working from your budget, time scheduling, I imagine,
Ah,
location scouting, did that
yes.
help with the translation?
Yeah, it helped, especially in having the tools for myself. At first, it was hard for me because when I was doing commercials, first I started with smaller commercials, which was doing everything, run and gun, shooting everything, editing, then buying gear, then when the drones came out. So I kind of learned everything, got very a lot into cinematography, and then you shoot like restaurant food commercials, so you have to learn how to light food. So it really like amplified my skill set and really gave me the tools to edit fast, understand the softwares, got me into marketing too, because I was suggesting clients what to do and also like what the audience wants, which also I feel translates a lot to screenwriting. So when you are writing something, you have to kind of guess what the audience will perceive with the scene. Just like when you shoot a commercial, you have to guess what they will perceive with this commercial. So there was some kind of similarity, even if it was for different purposes. But that was a big thing, understanding who you're writing for, what you're shooting, and then what helped me the commercials also, it's like when I started delegating, now that you're in the set, at first it was like weird, not holding the camera, trusting a DP, learning how to collaborate. That was a big experience, but then it was eye-opening for me to be like, oh my God, I don't have to do anything but deal with the actors and do this, and I don't have to be putting up lights. And so for me, that was like a big thing. But the commercial part gave me like the trust to be like, hey, DP, you're doing this too slow. We should be doing faster. And then if no, you can, no, you can't, you can. Let's, because I've done it before. So it really puts me in the shoes of everyone and knowing that, and helps me kind of shoot faster in a way and know what everyone should be doing. And always like to be open what you want to bring to the table, but also I know when someone's like pushing too much or trying to just be lazy, or so it gives you some knowledge it gives me some knowledge on knowing what everyone should be doing and if it should really take that long or not.
See, that's what I want to hear because a lot of times when whether you're an actor, a producer, director, DP, or even a grip, a lot of times for the new people that are going to watch this, they never really know what to expect. And that's kind of what it is. You don't know what to expect, but you just got to be ready for the unexpected in a sense, would you say? Because
Yeah, 100%.
a lot of times, like you said, like when it comes to the trust, you gotta build it. The foundation has to be strong within your
Mhm.
own team because you end up becoming a team and you have to trust for this whole operation of craziness to work, right?
Exactly. And trust is a big thing. And at first it was hard for me to trust, for because of my background and how I started. And so it was hard, but you have to. I learned that you have to for the sake of the movie, the story. You need to have the time to be with the actors, the time to think about your shot list, the time to look at the creative side. And because at first I was too picky and trying to get my hands on the lighting and trying to get my hands on the camera. I know you shouldn't frame it like this. Why don't we move? And then at my first film that happened, my first short film, and then when we were shooting, one of the actors was forgetting his lines because I forgot to run lines with him and I forgot to give him the attention. So I'm like, so that delayed us a lot. And it was a sunset shoot, and so I learned. And then another short film I tried to DP as well, but then it's like I'm like, no, you need a good team you can trust and delegate and know that, not only trust they can do it better, but hope they can do it better, and get a team that is better than you, so you can really be relaxed and focused on what directing is.
Wow. Yeah, see that I don't think a lot of people realize that until they're on the set, you know.
Hmm.
And
Yeah.
depending on the position you're in, depending on your responsibilities, it really comes down to what you can do and what you're doing at that moment of time that you're hired for,
Mhm.
which
Exactly.
hopefully you are, you know. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Exactly.
that's. By the way, where could I find this short film? I really want to watch this way.
Yeah, no, I'll send you the link. It's on Vimeo. It's on Vimeo. It's open, so I'll send it to you.
Okay,
Let me
okay.
send you
So
the
the
link.
next question I had, and it has
Mhm,
to do with the film festival. So when
mhm.
I met you there, first off, you're one of the first people that I met. So thank you. You know, you're a very heartwarm person, right? Gentle soul.
Thanks.
I would say for the most part, my impression of you, that's what it was at the film festival. And you know, when you're speaking about traveling and doing things like that, that's especially what I want to do. That's what I aspire to do eventually. You know, so it
Mhm.
was a great opportunity to me and you and everybody else that were directors, producers, or even the actors like myself.
Yeah,
Uh,
yeah.
this next question actually comes from me as an
Hmm.
actor. What advice would you give the actors out there that don't have agents or managers or don't have any type of representation? They're just simply by themselves, soloing every audition, whether it's online or in person. Uh,
Hmm.
what would you tell them as far as just, you know, going through this journey of auditioning in front of directors and producers and things like that?
I would say one advice would be to have some good reels, to have some good work to show, because at the end, that's the most important thing, that not to know the, the possibilities of the character are there, also the drive, like just talking. It's also very important relationship. Not only like it's not all about work, it's about knowing, oh, we'll get along. There's humility with him, we can collaborate, and that's very important. What you see a lot, especially with aspiring actors, which it's what I deal with most of my time, is it's like that I collaborate with most of the time. It's like they they think being an actor is being like a star and being kind of like, oh no, I'm late, oh no, I don't do this, oh no, and not do the actual work. But
Mm.
it's like even the best do it, especially the best do it. They're there on time. And I was surprised. We had a master class here at school with James Mangold, and he was telling us it's crazy when you are with professional actors. He's like, you have to be direct, and he was showing us example with Tom Cruise, and it's like they don't you don't have to be, saying it's Tom Cruise. Let me see how I tell him this. They're pros. They don't want to lose their time. You can be like, no, I don't like. Just I like that. Just do it faster. I like this, but that they're like grown ups. It's like treat them as such, right? So. And a lot of times with aspiring actors, when you are a little too direct or too, it's like, oh, you don't like my work. What is it? Why did you say it like that? I know it's a sense of confidence. Obviously, I imagine Tom Cruise being, it's way more confident. He knows what he's doing. He's not gonna feel, oh shit, did he like it? What did he mean with that tone? And when you're starting, you need more confirmation, of course. You want to know you're doing it right. It's you're starting the journey as well as the director or the team in some cases. So being humble and being flexible, and something that I have some actor friends with me in school, and something they're doing that I think it's a really good idea is, if they can, to write something they would like to act, something they would like to produce or do, and not be waiting always for if they have the chance to get a role, because that can, how it is.
Yeah.
It's out of control in a lot of sense, in a big sense. So it's like, if you get a chance to get a director or even direct it yourself, but mainly thinking of, I want to expose myself, I want to show what I can do, and then and have also the ability or maybe to produce or write, that can give you more. It can make you more like, oh, this guy can do both, let me get him on board. Or, oh, I love this script, but he will only do it if he acts on it. Okay, so that can either help or just as a real, like shooting stuff where you can show your potential, show your limits, and that's really useful.
You know, I love that you mentioned that you have to write, especially as an actor, because
Mhm.
even before the interview, this notebook. is my gem. This is my prize.
Yeah.
Monologues, writing journals, writing for
Yeah.
interviews. This is the key. This is the key. And I love that you mentioned that because I feel like it's underlooked, especially nowadays that we have the laptops, iPhones, even writing down notes on your laptops and things like that will help out, especially with that, especially if you're
Exactly.
going for a role that you haven't got yet.
Mm.
That's what I do. Uh, just to share my part and piece on that, I'm trying to audition for a ¿cómo se llama? Un rom-com.
Rom-com, yeah.
That's the only thing I haven't done yet. I've
Mm.
been on different TV shows, films, and things like that, but I have not done that. So what I started doing was writing on that. So
Mm.
I'm really glad that you mentioned that. I feel like a lot of actors they need to do a lot more research. I feel like,
Yeah.
and that goes for
Yeah.
anybody that's going into this industry because it is hard. It is
Yeah.
really hard.
And
You know,
observing, man, and also as directors, that's something I do, and that's something a few mentors have told me throughout the years, and that I do myself. And it's like we are creatives, regardless of the specific, of what we're doing exactly the discipline. But it's like being aware, like you're walking in the street, don't be on your phone, just observe. What do you see, and write down stuff. And you see someone screaming on the street, you can easily see here in New York, and just don't look away, and be just look what's happening, and not like just because you see things that it's hard to make up, it's hard to, we everything's out there, so it's always a good source for inspiration. And if something's nice, you write it down. I have also an app on my phone, and I just write down random stuff or random truths I find, like, oh yeah, this, it's funny how this bothers everyone. It's like a truth, no? When you do this, when you do that, I don't know if I'll use it, but it keeps you awake, and it can
mhm.
also at some point serve as a source of inspiration.
Indeed, and it also keeps your chops up, whether you're a
Exactly.
writer, actor, whatever it may be. I
Exactly.
feel like me and you right now, we're in different positions in life, but it can
Hmm.
also be reciprocated, meaning that I can understand you just like you can understand me because we're in the same realm, we're in the same space. Whether
Exactly.
we're working in different places, different times, whatever it may be. I feel like a lot of times people underestimate the power of communication, even, just even talking.
100%. And just talking with no, with no like just talking, as for friendship, as for just like connecting, and not so much for transaction and what can I get here. And that's where a lot of people, like, that's one of the things. I'm not a big fan of LA. Everyone's trying to see who you are, what you can get from me, but you never know. But not in the way of, you never know who you're talking to, but not in the way of, oh, you gotta be good because you might need him. No, no, no. In the sense of, you never know where the journey will take everyone. Just like, you know, enjoy, be nice, but not thinking, oh, I'll be nice. No, because life, will bring you as much as you give it. So I do believe in that we just have to, like, people and energies, and when you connect with someone, and like, it's honestly more important the quality of the, I wouldn't, like, I can have a great actor, but if it's a prick and I can't talk to him, and he won't, I can have like small talks, and he won't take any notes, and I won't work for him. I've been in that experience where I am impressed by the talent, and then at the time of working, it's a pain in the ass. I'm like, I'm not doing it again. This is very exhausting, and it drains your energy, right? So it's also about being ourselves, and our best selves helps also attract people that are looking for the same, you know?
I agree. I definitely agree with that. And well, I'm about to say too, I'm not ashamed of or nothing like that, or to even prove a point. But me, as it is right now, I mean, I'm a normal person. I work at a sandwich shop. I make sandwiches for people. But on the side, I do this, write notes, things like that. You know what I mean? I just embrace life for what it is. Anybody
Exactly.
that
That's so
sees that,
cool.
don't be ashamed of what you're doing right now. If you're progressing to something bigger, or you see something bigger for yourself, know that right now this is just temporary, and that everything
Exactly.
else, just embrace it for what it is.
Exactly. I agree. I couldn't agree
Yeah.
more. We're all in the journey. It's like and you never know, and it's a long journey. There's no roadmap. So we're all just playing the game, hoping for the best. But I think it's really important to not stop enjoying life for getting the career, and that's where the ego comes in, and it's like, oh yeah, and then you sacrifice relationships, you sacrifice everything because you're obsessed. I don't. I think whatever our career is 25% of our life. The rest is life. So let's keep the balance. I think that's important.
I agree. And I love having these type of dialogues rather than just, what's your film gonna be on this and that, this and that, this and that. Because for
Mm.
the most part, I feel like the only reason why people will ask that is because they noticed you only because of that. They don't actually know you for even before what you were or what you did before. Nobody wants to be around when you're in the process of doing great things, even if it doesn't become great. But to you, if you're doing it right, your own perception is this is gonna be it. But only you know that. But everybody
Exactly.
wants to be there when everything is well and over, where everything
Yeah,
is settled. And that's not even the case for the most part, a lot of times.
exactly.
You know?
Exactly. I agree. I couldn't agree more.
Yeah. And that's why I'm so grateful when it comes to film festivals. I think film festivals are the most authentic way to really get to know film creators,
Yeah.
whether they're different walks of lives. And when you welcome different walks of lives, then you have a lot more opportunity to learn, just like you said, as
Mhm.
well as beyond other things. But it's like how you said with, LA or even different locations where they're just kind of like, oh, we have this expectation. We want you to do this for us. I expect that from you if I'm your friend. And it's just like, that's not how it works, you know,
No, that's not how it
at
works.
all. Yeah, no, that is not
I
how
mean, that's how it works, but it shouldn't work, you know? Like a lot of times that's how people is, but that's not how it's supposed to be, you know? I think it's changing in a good way, uh, in general, the industry and stuff, you know? But we'll see. I mean, yeah, I'm not a big fan of being around people that are just so shallow and everything's like, what have you done? What will you do next? What can you give me? You know, and it's like, yeah.
If I'm being totally honest with you, I wasn't even supposed to be at the film festival. That happened miraculously. And that
Oh,
was because
really?
my friend was like, "Are you going?" And I was like, I can't afford it. I can't afford it. I don't know. He's like, "Wait a minute." And then, yeah, I got it. And, it's just things like that that
Yeah.
I'm very spontaneous, very,
Those
uh,
are the best. Yeah.
yeah, very random, very random.
Oh, nice.
But I'll say that meeting you and me, the other people, like I said, really
Yeah.
brought that experience for me because I was watching everybody. And it's been what 2 years since I've been to a film festival, and I understand the scene of it, how you're supposed to act in a sense, but I don't
Yeah.
really go with the norms. I'm just myself. I'm shy. I'm shy as is. I'm
Yeah.
pretty sure you could tell when I was over there. Um,
Well, I mean, you weren't shy. I mean, it was like, I mean, I'm also shy kind of in these like events where you don't know anyone and you're just walking and you were very friendly and just approached like, hey, and it was very easy to talk to. So I didn't perceive you as shy person, you know.
well, thank you, because
Yeah.
yeah, I went to the restaurant. I was like,
Yeah, no, I know the feeling. Yeah, yeah.
oh man. Let's see what else. I was gonna mention New Mexico, and
Hmm.
the reason being is because I was looking to New Mexico, right? So a lot of times there's films that are made out there, and it's overlooked as well. But there's big films.
Hmm.
Now I want to get your opinion because I've been doing some research for the past 2 years, from the
Okay.
shows that are being developed to the films. My assumption, this is just an assumption, but my assumption within the next 7 years tops, I think New Mexico will become the new LA in the sense that all the films and shows will be moved there because as is, we have LA people going there, we have Nueva York, we also have people in the Middle East, Ohio, things like that are moving to here. And one of the things I saw was because the tax breaks that you get on films in New Mexico, as
Yeah.
well as Texas, because Texas we don't really have much. I mean, I'm sure you know that. So
Yeah.
what I was going to ask you with that was, would you ever consider or have you done any films or TV shows in New Mexico?
No, I haven't. I
No.
haven't. It's not something I had thought about, but I mean, now that you mention it, makes sense. I've seen a lot of things happening there. Something I'm definitely considering is Mexico. You know, not New Mexico, but actually Mexico too. I mean, it's my hometown and also, you know, it's cheaper. It's, you know, you have the talent, you have the people, you have the cities. So what's on my mind right now more, it's Mexico, but it's also good to know about this and but yeah, I haven't shot anything there or thought about it yet. Also, because it also depends on the story, you know. Once you have the story, you see what you need in terms of the city, the looks, the places, and that really dictates everything. From there you start, you know. But yeah, I haven't been in a situation where I'm like, oh, should I shoot this in New Mexico? You know, I haven't been there yet.
So speaking of stories, I'm glad that
Hmm.
you mentioned that. Stories and genres. So for the most part, what do you lean more towards as a director when you're making your films? What genres do you like more, or which genres do you like working with more?
I like dramas. I
Drama.
like dramas, biodramas, and also like comedy, dark comedy dramas, you know. But because I like and this is something I've been discovering because I always started with drama because I am a very profound person, philosophical, like these big questions and like emotions and stuff. But then I realized when I see like these kind of stories, I don't see them much in the day to day, like the movies I watch. You know, I always lean more into more relaxed dramas, with a tone of comedy. I'm not comedy like The Office, but more like, relaxed kind of laid back, dramas. So like Alexander Payne, kind of The Holdovers, or Sideways. These movies are great references that I've. So now I've been going more, leaning more into this side of dramas with with a very strong core theme and characters and these big questions and things I want to tackle, but putting these layers of characters where their personality or their behaviors bringing some or the situations bringing some comedy into it without being the idea to make people, oh, this is my joke and just throwing jokes. No, it's more like like hitting in there. But I do find it way easier to relate to characters and to watch movies when there's like a tone of not taking yourself too seriously.
So let me ask you this then, if that's the case. Would you have two recommendations that I could add to my movie list or that I could watch myself?
That you can watch yourself. I mean, if one that I have very present now because I've watched it so many times recently for research is the Holdovers from Alexander Payne. And another one I really, really like, it's from Noah Buck. I always say his name wrong, but Buckingham, let me tell you the name. This is also one of my favorite films, and I honestly think it was underrated, and it's from Netflix, so I just think it got lost in the pool of movies that Netflix releases, but it's an incredible movie. Let me tell you. It's called uh da, 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 da. Um, it's a very weird name. The Meyerowitz story. Let me show it to you. It's this one.
Mayor Oitz?
Mayor. It's a very weird name.
Uh,
Meyerowitz stories. I can send you a picture if not.
May
It's on Netflix. It's from Noah Baumbach.
okay.
That one also. It's like a drama, family drama. Very strong characters, and but he also has a comedy tone that I love.
Okay, okay. And would you
And also
recommend
Moneyball. I love Moneyball. Yeah,
Moneyball?
yeah,
Moneyball.
Moneyball. The writer is Aaron Sorkin, and it's with Brad Pitt.
Ah, yeah, yeah, yeah.
I
That's a
love it. That's a good one. And look, it's not a comedy; it's a drama and biodrama, which I love too. But it's got the characters have a chemistry that just make it so relatable, so lighthearted. It's a good reference too.
okay. And then would you maybe recommend one more in Spanish?
In Spanish, uh, let me think. Let me think if I have.
I need to practice my Spanish, so this one's personal.
Yeah, no,
Yes.
no, that makes sense.
Yes.
I've watched recently, I just forgot right now, a movie in Spanish. Let me think about it. I can send it. I mean, right now I haven't seen it, but I've heard it's good. It's called it's a TV show. If you're interested, it's called La Máquina with
La
Diego
máquina.
Luna and Gael Garcia, which are like the two like kind of the most famous Mexican actors.
Yeah.
And I haven't seen it, but it's in Spanish and it's Mexicans and it's a boxer and they say it's really good. but I'll think of a movie and I'll send it to you if you want.
Okay. No worries, no worries. And so far with this interview, how are you feeling? What's your mindset right now? Your thoughts?
No, it's been really nice. It's really easy talking to you, man. Yeah, it's really nice talking to you.
I try to make it easy going,
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, no. I don't think it's necessary to be asking all these hard, top-notch questions, especially
Yeah.
um, it's something like this. I want to start something that's kind of laid back, like this,
Hmm.
como no más hablar y entonces
Hmm.
tranquilo, things like
Hmm.
that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because
No.
I think that just like how you cater to a certain audience with your work, whether it's your short film, movies, commercials, I want to cater to an audience that's similar in the sense that is looking for answers, that simply
Hmm.
is lost in the journey. And, they might stumble upon this video whenever it is published and
Hmm.
just, get something out of it. I feel like the way you were mentioning earlier, where, if you're walking, get off your phone, watch what happens, watch people, simply
Hmm.
embrace the moment, capture the moment, feel it,
Exactly.
understand why you feel it. That's what I want, but in this, in these conversations that
No,
still
really.
focus on, your art, your work, how you get the work, you know.
Hmm.
Yeah.
That's a great point. And also, like, if you ask me, like, I think you mentioned like watching and being present and reading, reading a lot. I think that's definitely overlooked now. Reading novels, reading like personal development stuff, connecting with yourself, especially for acting, like creative art. Obviously, whatever makes us better humans, it's better for the planet at the end of the day. So, but as artists, especially, we have to connect with ourselves more because that's what we do. We if we are connected, we are awake. We can. I feel and I trust, and I also like. If you want to read a book about this, that's amazing. It's a creative act, from Rick Rubin. Yeah,
Rick
yeah, I
Rubin.
think
I
Rick
love
Rubin.
Rick Rubin.
Yes, his book. Have you read it?
No, I've been wanting to though.
It's
Yeah, no.
life-changing book. Incredible. And he approaches creativity from his perspective, but in a very philosophical way and in a more like a spiritual way. And it's like, wow, it just like it blew my mind. I really like that book.
I really love his quotes. I love when he talks about the ego, especially when
Yeah.
he's developing, because he also does the music and all that stuff from way back in the
Yeah.
things
No,
like
he's a
that. So
genius. Yeah.
yeah, I love how he mentions when it there was a quote I actually saw the other day, and I'm paraphrasing here, so I do apologize, Rick.
Yeah,
I don't
no,
know if
it's
you've
fine.
ever seen this, but paraphrasing along the lines of when two creators meet, it's simply the destruction of their egos and working to collaborate to make an art that is aside from either one. So
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah.
that stuck with me. I was like, wow,
Yeah.
wow.
In all those topics and stuff, he goes deep in the book, just talking about where ideas come from, what collaborating is or should be, or what, working or your work should be. How do you get inspired? How do you find ideas? Where so it's like how do you trust your instincts? So it's very inspirational, but also very philosophical and like it's like a way of life, which I loved. Even if you're not exactly a creative person like per se like us, it's really useful in the way he looks at life. And yeah, it's beautiful. It's a beautiful book.
And he's so unfiltered about it, very blunt, you know.
Yeah. Yeah.
You see it in his interviews, you see it in the way even a documentary. See, I watched the documentary of his recently too, and
Uh-huh.
it was how he started from New York, and he was in the dorms, and then he was working with
Yeah.
who was it? I was about to say DMX. That is not it. Uh, what is the name of that group? It is Run DMC. There you go.
Okay.
Run DMC.
Okay.
Yeah. So working with them, working up, how he built this confidence of just simply just going out, even if he didn't know what he was doing when he was producing music and things like that. And now he's working with all these new artists. Every time he does an interview, they ask him, "Why do you charge so much?" And he's just like, "Well, it's because I'm simply confident in what I do." And it just stays
Yeah.
quiet after that, So it's like, okay, I'm gonna listen to this guy. Yeah.
No, yeah, he's a great guy.
Oh yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
have you worked with anybody like that that has that type of personality?
Not really. No, not really. I have a teacher here at Columbia that has that kind of not personality, but that kind of philosophy of life. He's a director from Romania. And I haven't collaborated with him, but I've been in his classes and talked a lot with him. And he's a great guy. And he's just about, I love how he's always talking about directing is life. It's growing up. It's, the way you direct is the way you are as a human. So the better human you are, the better director you'll be. And as you grow up and mature, you will be a better director though, because you will treat people differently, you will relate differently. So his philosophy is a lot about, life is directing, and it's not just like, oh, I'm a director. You're a human being, and the better human being you are, the better director you are. So I
Mhm.
really liked his approach of what directing is, and but it's different, but still it's pretty cool.
When it comes to direction, because I just got a new question now that you mentioned that. When it comes to direction, especially being on a set, and let's say that you're directing an actor, but and you've already faced this problem because you mentioned it before, where they forget the lines, they forget their places, markings, whatever it may be. When it comes to that, and you deal with maybe a method actor, how do you go about that? You know,
Hmm.
what is your viewpoint on that?
I mean, it depends a lot on like how behind schedule are we? What's the context? Like, is he alone or is there more actors around him? Is how big is the scene? Is it like a very important climatic scene, or it's more like a transitional scene? Or it really depends on the context. But like these times where these actors, like a good actor that knows what he's doing, that study his lines, that understands the character, and that you have good communication with him, there's not much you have to tell them. They know what they have to do. You do slide, you can tell him, yeah, if it's more like a blocking thing, you can be like, okay, you can do it faster, but stand here. And if he keeps forgetting because he's being distracted, then maybe we can adapt a little bit. Okay, let's just move the camera instead, depending if it's like the rig also. But like, okay, let's just follow him. It's okay. Just it's not the end of the world, the marks. So there's like priorities you have to focus on. Like, why is this mark so important? Can we be flexible about it because this will bring the best out of him? If that's the case, it depends a lot. But like when it's like the lines are forgetting and stuff, first off, that's that shouldn't be happening, but unfortunately happens a lot, especially when you're on set. Might be your fault. In one case was my fault because I didn't give him the attention, didn't rehearse enough, didn't talk to him enough because I was focusing on the technical aspects. And then I'm like, oh shit, I could have seen this coming if I did my job. So that's when I learned, how I have to only be a director. But then if all of this went through, you rehearse, he had his time with the script and stuff, it shouldn't happen. If it does, then you have to face with it. You have to deal with it, and it's happened a couple of times with me. And differently, I've had to improvise. Last resource is line reading. Just throw the lines and you don't cut, and just be like, okay, okay, take it back from this, and no, it's not this. It's you don't say. I want to go there. You say, I've always been there. Okay, let's take it from the back, from the top. Action, but you don't cut. You let them flow depending on how much time you have, and then just like the sunset's coming, it's like, okay, I just need you to say these lines from this shot, from this angle, and that's what matters, and at the end, if he's getting it, that's good, just go faster, and that's like the last resource I've used. But at the end, when I edited it, no one realized that he was forgetting his lines, because he told them, it was a specific scene. So
Mhm.
you have to just play with the resources and sometimes let go of the ego of how the process should be, and
Uh,
no, let's take him to the side. Sometimes you don't have time for all these protocols and you just have to be direct and just let it out.
Simplemente. Okay, okay. Entonces, I mean, just to summarize before this ends, for the actors, don't put yourself in a position where you're unprepared and overthinking the choices you already have. Come prepared
Mm.
with your lines, come prepared with everything else that's needed, maybe come a little bit extra prepared.
100%. And if you have ideas, bring them up. It's okay. There's time for that, but don't wait 1 second before shooting. Like, oh, what if we don't change the whole character? Like, have the conversation with the director, but also, that's exactly why. Come prepared.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, is there